Alison considered her friend Elizabeth Fraser, who had been a lady-in-waiting before her marriage to Edward Bruce, the adopted brother, not blood brother, of King Robert. She and her husband left court and made a home at Inverlochy Castle, after a threat to Edward's life nearly killed Elizabeth. "Dare I go to Elizabeth and Edward at Inverlochy? Would they take me? If I can make my way there, I think Elizabeth would allow me to stay until I can figure out what to do next." Doubt niggled at her mind that Edward might send her straight back to Stirling once he learned that she disregarded Robert's order for her to marry Ewan. "I wish Isabella still lived on Dunbar land. At least I know my way around the lowlands, even if we're from opposite sides. But she and her husband have gone to the Sinclairs. There's no way that I could travel that far north on my own. I barely know aught about the Highlands that border the southern portion of Scotland. I won't make it in the wilds alone. A man or a beast is more likely to attack me than I am to survive." Alison remembered how to reach Elliot Land from Stirling, but it would be the first place anyone searched. She might go to their neighbours, the Kerrs or the Douglases, but they would turn her over to her father. Desperation set in, but Alison refused to allow it to dominate her. She hurried her packing and hid the satchel in her chest before undressing and crawling into bed. The candle had just finished smoking when the door creaked open and her roommates entered. They eased through the door and moved about the quiet chamber as they readied themselves for bed. Alison forced herself to remain still and regulate her breathing despite her mind jumping from one idea to another. "Who says I have to be Alison Elliot any longer? No one has to discover I'm a laird's daughter, nor do they need to learn I was ever a lady-in-waiting. For all anyone knows, I'm the young widow of a farmer, and couldn't maintain the plot on my own. I'm a fair seamstress, despite what my mother might say, and Morgana said I was a natural in the kitchen. If our clan's head cook believes that, then I must be at least decent. I don't intend to work in a tavern, but perhaps I could work for a family in Edinburgh or Glasgow. I can't remain in Stirling, but I need a city large enough to get lost in. That's what I'll do. I'll say I'm a poor widow willing to assist a shopkeeper, or become a maid in exchange for room and board. I must trade my finer clothes for money, and use the money to buy less questionable stockings and gloves. I can claim the cloak and scarf were wedding gifts from my husband. I never imagined I'd become a servant, but I know I can do the work. I know how to do the work. At least, my mother was wise to ensure all her daughters understood the duties of every servant if we were ever to be a proper chatelaine. I'd rather be alone than with a husband who will shame me with a mistress under my roof. I don't want to believe Ewan would ever force me, but he did little to disabuse me of the notion that he might. Some women might accept that lot, but I refuse to be overlooked and discounted any longer. It hurts too bloody much." Alison slipped into slumber as she found some resolution to the quandary of how to evade her arranged marriage. She would figure out the rest when the situation demanded a solution.